Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. For today's number talk, we are looking at these two mixed numbers and approximating the difference, trying to figure out whether it would be less than 1 or greater than 1. Hopefully we notice that if we just looked at our whole numbers, 2 and 1, well, that's going to equal 1. And so that's that midpoint there between less than 1 and greater than 1. So really what I'm looking at is the 3/15ths and the 1/7. And if the 3/15ths happens to be larger, well, then I would have a little bit left over. It's going to end up being greater than 1. But if the 3/15ths happens to be smaller and the 1/7 is larger, well, then I'd have to regroup that 2 to make it a 1 whole so I can make this a little bit larger. And I would actually have something less than 1. So it's going to make a difference which one is larger. But how do I compare these two fractions? So one thing that I immediately thought of is what if I were to make an equivalent fraction? Let's take my 1/7. What if I were to do this? Right, that'd be 2/14. Okay, so now I want to compare 2/14 and 3/15. So they're really close to each other. But other than that, I mean, they seem like it's a +1 on the numerator, +1 on the denominator, but that's not really going to help me too much. So what if I try to rewrite the other fraction? Okay, that's not going to work. Let's take my 3/15. Hopefully we saw that. Say, hey, we could simplify that. Okay, so that's going to be 1/5. Right, I can do something with that. Let's rewrite this as 1/5. Now, how do I know that I can do something with that? Well, if I have the same numerator, all I need to do is compare the denominators, right? So take a look if I were to do square, shade in 1/2. Try to draw that same size square, but I'm going to change my denominator to 4. And then I'm going to do that same square. I'm going to change my denominator to, let's do 8. 1/8. You notice that as my denominators get bigger, right, my pieces get smaller. So just taking one piece, right, it's going to make each subsequent one smaller and smaller and smaller. So take a look at my 1/5 and my 1/7, right? If I were to fit them in here, my 1/5 would be right here. My 1/7 would be right there. And so my 1/5, by definition, is going to be larger because I'm taking a square and only breaking it up into 5 pieces. If I take that exact same square and break it up into 7 pieces, well, those 7 pieces only have the same amount of square that they can break up, so each piece in itself has to be a little bit smaller. So the 3/15 is a little bit larger than the 1/7. So when I subtract, I'm going to have a little bit left over, which means it's going to be a little bit greater than 1.